Small group leaders, welcome to week 9 of our time together. We have one more week after this one. We're looking at Samson part 2 this week. We saw his rise last week in our time together, his birth, the vow that he had taken, how he was set apart for service, how Israel loved him because of how strong he was, how attractive he was, how he killed a lot of people and did some pretty wild stuff. And so we get really now in part 2 to his downfall. As I said last week, Samson had one gigantic weakness, is that he loved women that was not his wife. And so we are told the story of Samson and Delilah, a story you might be familiar with. Delilah seduces Samson, and she's trying to figure out the source of his power because the Philistines are going to give her a lot of money if they can figure out why he's so strong. Why does he have such great power to inflict such great harm on people and instill so much fear in the hearts and in the minds of people? What is the secret to Samson's success? They want to find out, and they're using Delilah to do that. They're going to pay her off. And she's convincing Samson that they're in love. And Samson is at first he's kind of wise to her shenanigans, and so he speaks in riddles with her. He tricks her a couple times, and then finally, through a series of liquid courage, some alcohol and some food, as Samson is about to fall asleep, he admits to Delilah that the Nazirite vow that he has taken, because a razor has never touched his head, basically. That's why he's so strong. He's strong because of the favor of God that rests upon him. That was manifest to him. The sign and the seal of that to him was his hair. It's kind of a crazy thing to think about. So Delilah figures this out. The Philistines come and they shave his head, and then Samson is basically powerless against them. They gouge his eyes out so that he can no longer oppress them. They make him go blind. And then he's basically a circus animal for them. They have figured out the source of his strength. They throw this big party. They say, hey, bring Samson in so he can entertain us. His hair started to grow back. He's getting his strength back. And they bring him in to really entertain them. They put him between these two pillars. They chain him up. He prays out to God, hey, God, if you could one last time give me that strength that you were so kind to give me in the past, that I can avenge myself to these Philistines for what they've done. And so he is given his strength one more time. He tears down the pillars. The building collapses. It kills everybody there. We're told in this book, or in this chapter rather, that more people died in this episode than Samson had killed at any other time in his life. So Samson had given in to his temptations. This is a story of what happens when we compromise what we know to be true for what we know to be easy. Israel had done what was right in their own eyes. They had done what was evil in the sight of the Lord. Samson was grasping for some notoriety, for some fame, for himself. He had given in to the temptations that he had, and still God remained faithful to answer his prayers. And so we want to look and see, how does God continue to act in our lives, even when we're disobedient, even when we're in a continued pattern of sin. How does God still pull us out of that? The story of Samson is a great and wonderful and a terribly sad story. And so it is it's another warning shot for us to be mindful of where our hearts are as they pertain to what the Lord has for us. So enjoy week 9 together. Again, it's a sad story. It's sad to see the downfall of Samson here, and ask the Lord to guard our hearts. Enjoy week 9 together. If you have any questions, of course, ask your discipleship director on your campus. Reach out to me. Reach out to your pastors. We would love to help.